Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you are doing well. We are here for a new Figuarts review. This time being Deku from My Hero Academia, which is actually on its last season, and the manga just recently ended. So it's kind of interesting to finally see Tamashii hopping on the band. And I mean, they've been already going at it, giving us teases and whatnot into future figures. So very excited for this line. Now, this figure by far is one of the most anticipated, I think, for the most part last year. I mean, it was technically a 2024 release, but so far, getting it in January here, like I've had a lot of fun messing with this figure. But there are some things I'd be hopeful to see either changed or see where they can make adjustments, because the figure does have things going for it that also get in the way of it, and hopefully that makes sense as I get into it. So we are going to quickly kind of diverge, and I'm going to go over, things I kind of dislike about the figure and get those out the way so we won't have to press on them later. But without further ado, let's hop on into this review. All right, so to keep this very quick, I would have to say his own design kind of gets in the way of him having more articulation in the knees, and that's just something I think is hard to avoid in general, unless they would have done some crazy tech with the knees somehow, or the calves I should say, somehow bending in on themselves as you continue to press forward knee bend. I don't know if they even would have been able to do that, or if that's something that was even on the table in terms of mechanics wise. But that is something I think is just unfortunate for him. There's no way around it for that big calf right there, dude. The other thing is, and this, you could dumb it down to really not being an issue, but I guess for some people it could be problematic. And for me, I mean, I'll put it back on with no problems, but it does get annoying. And that's the waist piece here. It is pointed a little bit more forward or inward, so he can get a little bit more of a forward crunch. That belt piece does sometimes get in the way of the articulation, unfortunately. Though it's cool that it's a floating piece, you can move at your own will. So there's that as well. The last thing I would probably make a big conundrum of, that I always seem to do, is the crotch piece. I need them to get on the soft plastic grind. I know sometimes the material being different, the colors of whatever they're putting on there may look a little bit different from the actual plastic, but it's for me, sometimes it's about having more mobility than just flat out design, right? And in a lot of the cases where I've seen the soft plastic used, the figure just has way more range than a lot of the other figures that have come out, and it just works. And I think for characters like Deku, who was extremely agile, he needs that. The last thing here, which we'll quickly get into, is actually dealing with the wrist pegs. So unfortunately, at least on my copy, I've got like really floppy wrist pegs. I don't know if that's a common issue, but at least I do know it seems to be a common issue with the wrist pegs kind of separating there at the seam, depending on, I mean, no matter how much force I seem to put on it, it does seem to kind of get to that point, and it always stresses me out a little bit, because even if I'm tugging on it very lightly, I can still see it kind of separating there. But I'm hoping that it also doesn't lead to things breaking and whatnot. So I'm planning, I think, to just use hot water every time I change his hands. And I would suggest that, but I know it can get really tedious. But yeah, anyways, let's quickly hop into the accessories and get on into the rest of this review. All right, so right out the gate, you're going to be getting, of course, your standard fist hands. You're going to be getting 2 different pairs of open palm hands, those kind of slightly clenched ones, as well as a full spread of them as well. In addition to that, you are getting, the standard stern expression, standard head sculpt. You also will be getting 2 different types of bangs with him. So you're going to get a standard set that's kind of his hair whooshed back. I don't know what the right terminology is, but this is without the energy effect across his eyes, and it does look really good on him. I'll put him on in a second as I just kind of go through him here real quick, but let me grab the other one to show you what it looks like. And here is the, I believe, gear shift, I guess, yeah, hair plate, face plate, I don't know, covering his eyes. It does look cool. It doesn't work with his smiling expression that well, and I think it really is meant for the yelling and gritting teeth. But yeah, anyways, let me show those off really quick. All right, we also have this black whip effect in his accessory set. It's pretty good. You know, I wish we had more. I mean, this is a good start, I guess you could say. I really like the colors and stuff on it. But I would like to see a little bit more variety in terms of how he's used it in the, series so far. I just hope that it's not going to be something we have to wait for either other releases to get with it or other kits necessarily, unless it's like dedicated kit sets for Deku, which it could be a thing. We'll have to wait and see how they plan to handle that based off our last teaser we got kind of at the last events. But yeah, pretty cool effect here. Looking forward to more. All right, so quickly here in post editing, I wanted to add that I actually didn't know that you could take off the eye effect pieces on the bangs. That was something I probably should have read the instructions for, but seeing it on a post on Instagram, I was like, wow, that's actually pretty cool and intuitive. I mean, it's not something I expected to be possible naturally unless you like broke it off intentionally, which seems to be kind of something you have to do for certain figures. Like, an example, I guess you could say like Zoro's swords. You could take them all off and reattach them, but it's not meant to do that. Here, I think this is really cool just to be able to get a couple of, unique poses and whatnot. So quick shout out to hsnow0128 on Instagram for that. Really cool photos. Go check them out. But yeah, pretty cool stuff there. I guess this technically counts as an accessory, even though it's part of the figure in terms of the design that it needs to be on, right? But you also get the cape from, I forgot his name, you know who I'm talking about. But you also get that as well, and it looks semi-okay. I'm okay with it, but I feel like soft goods would have just kind of hit. And I know it's a big discussion on soft goods or soft plastic or plastic application in general. Maybe I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But now let's quickly hop into the articulation of this guy. So let's start at the head here and just see how much range he has kind of looking up. It's okay. Looking down is actually pretty decent, and I think it actually works really well with the mask here. You can get some kind of really depressed vibes from him if you want, or if you want to get the angry face on there and kind of make him look really serious, like walking down, whatever have you. It works. There's no articulation here along this collar piece. Unfortunately, it's just kind of stuck there. He does actually have his mask in the back, and I kind of like that it's sculpted there. Wasn't expecting that actually, but then the articulation here is really standard. It's just, ball peg swivel up and down, whatever way it goes. Get the sweep, all that. Anywho, butterfly joint is actually pretty dang good. And I'm curious to see Todoroki's because it kind of looked a little weird. But I mean, Deku here is really, really, really impressive. So I would hope that being that they got this down, Bakugo and Todoroki will be fine. So we'll see. But yeah, he can cross his arms pretty decently. He's got these big, bulky freaking gauntlets though. So that will get in the way if you want to do some, poses, I guess, in certain recreations. It may get in the way. That may be bothersome to some, it may not. You let me know. You have a twist right here for a bicep swivel. I like that. Obviously, it's hidden by the gauntlet piece in the sleeve here. That's actually pretty nice. You get another swivel here with the gauntlet, so as you move it around, you can play around with it and have different positions for it to look accurate as it's moving. You get your bend there at the elbow. Actually pretty good stuff despite having this big ass gauntlet. You get your swivel here. Mine feels like a tad loose. Not loose, but like you could feel it being a little floppy, right? Now it stays in position, that's fine with me, but I will get concerned, and we'll see how it goes over the next few months, if it truly becomes loose or not. But so far so good. Anyways, you've got this belt here. We'll talk about that. We did talk about that actually already. So this actually has articulated pieces on it, which was surprising to me. These can move. Not too many people may care about that, but for people that want to do like really, really dynamic posing, yeah, these are gonna, I guess, add a little bit more accuracy to the photo. I don't know. and it can obviously move side to side or go full around. As far as the ab crunch though, it is pretty dang good. I mean, like I said, he's got this thing pointing kind of angled forward already, so he's got an edge over most other figures, and I'm sure there may be something somebody can do to give him more range. There's always something somebody can do, but I think that's good enough. And if you want to get the belt out the way, do that, but it can prevent him from having articulation in some areas, right? Anywho, there's that. Oops, see, there you go. I put too much force on it this time around. It is just that easy to take off in comparison to other figures. And it's not like Zoro bad, okay? Zoro was just very, very much bad decisions all around. But yeah, so let's keep moving forward. So he can kick straight up. He's got his swivel there at the thigh. His knee bend here, though, is gonna, again, like I said in the beginning, this big bulky calf is gonna be in the way, unfortunately, from him having a fully extended, knee bend right there. And, angle-wise, you can hit the Fajin pose where he's charging it up or about to initially release it. You can with angles, but naturally it looks really weird. And I mean, if you saw the display for Tamashi back in, what was that, Tamashi Nations Tokyo, I believe, it looks concerning. And it's just because, again, the design kind of gets in the way of an articulation, and I think that is just hard to get around that without doing some really weird unnecessary stuff. So for now, it's okay. You just gotta deal with it. Besides that, you got soft plastic piece right here for the laces. I don't know what that is. Laces, boot, part, yeah. You got your ankle swivel inside that, and it's actually really, really mobile there. It feels really, really good, despite being such a big freaking boot. You got your toe articulation, and back kick is decent. It's decent. It's not horrible. It's probably some of the better ones, but like I said, soft plastic, way to go here. Anywho, that is about it for his articulation. I would still give that a pretty high score if I was a rater, but like I said, those little things I was complaining about in the beginning of the video, that's mostly where I stand with that. I just want to see some hopeful changes in the next iteration of a Deku figure, because this is one of those lines that I feel should at least get a couple, like a decent amount of figures, honestly. Even though the manga ended and the anime is on its last season, and it just actually is going to have that branch off story from a while ago, Vigilantes or whatever. I forgot what it's called. My Village, I don't know what it's freaking called. Don't quote me. But whatever that show is going to have that as well. So My Hero Academia, to some degree, will still be talked about regardless. So it should. But yeah, let's let's get some other anime figures, I guess, compare them height-wise, design-wise, and close off the video. All right, so to end this review, we've got a few different characters here. We've got All Might, Ichigo, Luffy, and Gojo. I only chose All Might really for the most of the comparison here, but the other characters are just kind of so you can see them all together and see the difference with how beefy freaking Deku looks, man. I don't have the Amazing Yamaguchi Deku yet. It's somewhere out in the sky or out in the sea waiting to be delivered to me. But he does, in comparison, look a little bit leaner, and that could just be because the design's obviously different, or just in general, Amazing Yamaguchi style, right? But this Deku here, the SHF, freaking, he's got it on him, man. He's got it on him. And between the Amazing Yamaguchi All Might and the SHF Deku, I'm mostly fine with that height ratio there. Maybe half a head less for Deku, and he probably would have been more okay. But I mean, the figure, this is two different lines, of course, so it's not gonna match up perfectly. But the figure itself for Deku is actually just still pretty stellar, and for a first, iteration of the figure, it's got it. I hope they continue to do more. I really want a Dark Deku someday from either or company. I don't think anybody's really done that yet. Not even Figma has picked it up yet. I don't know if they're even doing any more figures for My Hero, but yeah, that is it so far. I do have a couple of other things I want to review, just time constraints at the moment. So when those videos do come out, check them out. In the meantime, continue checking the community tab and other sources where I post stuff on Instagram, etc. But anyways, catch you guys in the next video. Hope you had a good one. Peace.